Welcome to the final episode of Blizzard Beach, Sicily. This is my first finished Planet Coaster 2 project, and I'm gonna share this with you at the end of today's episode. You can download that yourself, go and explore this park, go on the different slides, and just enjoy it. I almost made it and finished this before Christmas, but you know, as time and babies and so on concerned, it didn't work out quite as that. But hey, it almost did, okay? So before we start into the episode, as always, here is a note from the sponsor of the channel, this is Instant Gaming. And as you know, you can get game keys over here, you can get in-game currencies, just like PlayStation and Xbox, blah, blah, blah. Always good service, good values, they always have bundles and stuff like that. So make sure to check that out. You can basically find anything you can think of, whether it's being Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster DLCs or other games, City Skylines. You'll find it there. It's actually, the link is in the description, or you will always find this on my channel page. Just check it out if you find something for you. Anyways, let's continue with our build. So today's episode is the focus on finishing actually our areas. There will be a bit of a lazy river at the end, which unfortunately the people don't seem to use that much, but I'm just very happy with how it turned out at the end of the day. And yeah, well, the whole thing, the whole point of this build was really going into the water parks, and we all know Frontier is still fixing a lot of these things, and this is the main reason why I brought this to a bit of an abrupt end. I said at the beginning I was aiming at just a couple of episodes, but the project turned out to be much more massive than what I initially thought it would be. So theoretically, I should have spent even more time to make it more nice looking. This is definitely not my bestest work ever. It's definitely good, you know, it has some very, very cool things in it, but it definitely isn't at the level of quality that I usually go for. But hear me out. I think you have to be open and honest to yourself, always and always. And for me personally, I just recently noticed that it felt harder and harder to go back to this project. So several reasons. Number one is a very emotional reason for myself. It still hasn't snowed over here. There is no snow in the game. We haven't received any snow in the game, and I love snow, okay? But where I'm living, there is just usually no snow. And whenever it's cold enough for snow, there is absolutely no downfall at all. There's just not. Everything is dry and sunny. And as soon as the temperature goes above 3 degrees, it's gonna rain for an eternity. So that's how it is over here. And the same actually applies today. It's cold enough now, so it would snow. But over the day, it's gonna get warmer and warmer. And tonight, when it's above 3 degrees, it's gonna be raining. It's hilarious. However, as much as I love the theme, I'm just emotionally connected to the fact that I can't go skiing this year and I can't go to the snow holidays this year just because the little one, the baby, is just too small. And also money-wise, going to ski is absurdly expensive by now. You basically have to save for almost 2 years to go. Like, you know, it's not like I'm poor or so, but honestly, it's like skiing is only for the rich anymore. Like it's been always expensive, but it's now only for the rich. So eventually, with 2 kids, I will not be able to go skiing every year. Hell, not even every second year. So honestly, that together is the reason why this project kind of annoyed me. Without that, the project has a say in that. But then there is also a very, well, Planet Coaster 2 reason. I just got bored by this project. Like, it didn't click with me as much as it did at the beginning, simply because the water parks are not at a state that I like them to be working with them a bit more. And also, I think the story of this park is just told, okay? So everything that I wanted to do, I have done. There are a couple of little things I would have loved to do, but yeah, you know, it's really not that what I wanted to do, but it's okay. Okay, I'm happy with it how it is right now. I'm happy with all the things we kind of established in here, the things that turned out of this project, like this kind of very cool towel racks. I'm still a big fan of them. The way that we have basically established this decals as snow and all these things, very nice. I'm very happy about this, but as I said, the story is told and I want to go into new areas and want to kind of change things up a little bit. And also, I've got so many other ideas I finally want to start working on, that this project is kind of in the way. And just like for those of you who wonder, because I got this question so often, how I do all these things, despite being a dad, despite being a full-time job, and so on. This is frankly the reason I have to be very focused on what I do. I have to be very focused on when I do what, and this is like I always try to prioritize the projects that I feel like working on is the easiest, that the ones where I spark ideas, the ones that don't feel like work, that feel like fun, so that the time I spend is really a good time spent. And that means I can't work on a project just for the sake of the project if it just doesn't spark with me, if it doesn't give me this easygoing vibe to play with it. And exactly this happened with the Spark, so this is why I now decided it's time to end this with this episode, you know. And this isn't a bad episode by any means. I love the outcome of it. Honestly, it's been very good. Once I started working in it, it started to click and, you know, become much more enjoyable to do that. But I feel like this is maybe my biggest recommendation for every single one of you who wants to start creating content, or you don't even need to start creating content. For those of you who just simply have the problem with playing games and not feeling like it. You know, I've heard so many people, where do I get the creativity from? And it's not even about making content, it's really about having the creativity, the ideas to play. And this is my one single most important recommendation. Only do what you feel like doing. And this is like the most important rule to get into it, because otherwise it becomes work. And once it becomes work, naturally the creativity isn't as much there anymore. This is like a huge problem always when people speak about, you know, working in an agency and so on. It's not like you cannot force creativity. You can create an environment that helps you to be creative. You can make everything around as best as you can to make it work better, but you can never force it. And the second most important thing is, whenever you have an idea, go for it. It's like, don't let yourself be stopped from other projects that, you know, you feel like need to be finished or anything. As soon as you have an idea, just test it, do it, get it out of your brain, get it down onto a paper, into the game, onto whatever helps you. Some people work in Procreate on tablets, some people just need to write it down, other people just speak into their phones, whatever. Do something to keep that idea alive in a way and out of your head, so you make room for other things. I think this is also what I wanted to make in this voiceover. Other than that, you can see I'm building a wonderful Alpine building. There's not really much to do about this and to say about this. I really love how that turned out. I just used this wonderful platform again to do a bit of a rotation trick, which it's such a pity. I talked about this in the last episode of this series, that I found a way to trick the system to get these mirrored builds out of it, and it's not working anymore. The hot fix before Christmas actually fixed it, and I hate it. I wanted to make a tutorial on how that works, but apparently it's been fixed, and this is so annoying, because what happened is you could take, like, once you've built this one, you need to click on done, you click, you know, until you're done, and then what you need to do, go back in, select everything that you have in the group, and then press M to move this, and then you could move this onto another group, and then this little add to group appears, and you could have another platform in that group. It's important that there is a platform in the other group, but the good thing is you can then push it into the group, but don't attach that to the platform. And so it was in the other group as a final thing, and then you could just go and delete the platform piece again. So you had it out of the group, but it just doesn't work anymore, which is a pity. I'm trying to find another workaround, but at the moment it doesn't work. So yeah, with this building I also went a little bit more into the details, building these shutters and stuff. Always make a building, I think it just really helps. And then putting down a lot of foliage, doing a little couple things here and there. And one thing I want to praise the game for real quick is, in the old Planet games, I never felt that the in-game railings were actually any good and were usable. But like in this game, I don't have this feeling, simply because we can now change the color of these, and we can change the different railing types per ground and per texture type. It just feels like so much more usable, and I don't spend that much time on building custom railings. That it's really good, and also obviously they are always conform with the rounding and with the shape of your terrain. So that, and not terrain only, but also the path itself. So I'm very, very happy with this. It just really helps. Very happy with how you can use this. You shouldn't overdo it, but it really looks fantastic, I think. And I'm a big fan of it. I'm a really, really big fan of it. The in-game railings are absolutely fantastic. Speaking about fantastic, we now have functioning barriers in the game, and this is where the camel came in and finally did something that I wanted to do forever in this project, but just the problem was that with the fact that the barriers and curbs weren't working, I wasn't really able to do it. And also, fun fact, and I wasn't able to do much more with it, but the barriers seem also to work inside of pools. So you can now make guidance inside of pools, and that is so cool, because now you can actually make some really cool staircases that the people are only using the staircases of your pool. I'm gonna show that in a very nice little tricks video soon. Because I found this is a very cool idea that you can use the barriers to basically create so many cool things in your parks that naturally wouldn't be possible, but I'm very happy with how this works. Now, in general, this whole park could receive a bit more nice things, but as I said, I'll leave it the way it is. You can take it from here if you fancy doing so, but I personally, I just feel like I need to go into other parks. Hanseatic Dreamland, for example, I want to build every single day. I've got so many ideas for this park. I've got so many projects in my head that I want to start in this park. By the way, here you can see the barriers work also when you push them into the ground. So I made myself a custom fence that fits a bit nicer to the idea that I wanted to have over here. And this is like a typical beer garden kind of style I wanted to bring in here. And simply by having these barriers, you can now separate this area a little bit from the guest flow in total. And it does work, and I'm very happy that it works. I'm just putting a couple more beach chairs here, or like sun lounges, as they're called in game. Very, very happy. And also, for those of you listening to this video, I also launched a German channel. In case you haven't seen that yet, make sure to check out the kind of channel called Ren Camel. That's all what you need to type in. You're gonna find me there, or you'll find this over much. I will have to link it somewhere on the channel as well, but you'll find this also via the push in my Discord or the community post I've put on here. Now, what you can see over here, I wanted to create like this little kiddie ride over here. We have kiddie big wheel. Is it a big wheel? Is it a Ferris wheel? It's kind of a small Ferris wheel, and I wanted to create like a little snowflake for it, and made these kind of things as typical snowflakes, only 3 of 6, just to keep it nice and tidy. And I feel like it works kind of nice. It just does what it should do. It's nothing too crazy, you know. I just wanted to style that a little, and when it moves, it kind of looks cool. So that's all that I wanted to do. And just to make it a bit more nice looking, I put these typical skiing fences around as like a little idea. Cleaned off some of the pathways over here so that it looks a bit more clean. And then I also put in the typical kind of umbrellas, looking a bit more Bavarian. And also now there's a little bit of a special in here. I just wanted to have one more animatronic in the water, which is exactly where I found out that the barriers do work in pools as well. I had a hard time building a little snowman over here. I wanted to do Olaf from Frozen, because my daughter, she's absolutely, it's like, I want to say she's into Frozen, but that wouldn't be justified, because she's obsessed with it, she's living it, she's Elsa basically, and she's Anna, and she's Olaf, and she's Sven, and she's everyone. It is hilarious. She's almost like, also she's able to sing all the songs by heart. Like, she's 3.5 years old. I don't know how that functions, but she's able to. And she's doing all the kind of crazy spells and so on. So apparently I wanted to do something for her and create Olaf in the game, which worked okay. Like, again, I wanted to save time, and I could have gone in and looked for more better pieces to create that. I felt like there are a couple of pieces in the game that would have worked better even than the art shapes, but I am okay happy with the result. You can see from my commentary, I'm very happy with this project, don't get me wrong, but it's time to say goodbye to it. As I said in the past already, and in the context of me having a newborn, don't get me wrong, but kill your babies is a phrase that, you know, you always say also in agencies, and like when you talk about ideas. If there is an idea, if there's a project that you try to work on so many times and it still doesn't work out, it's about time to kill it, because it may not be the correct one then. And this is exactly what it feels like to this project. Like, not that it has been wrong, but it doesn't offer anything more anymore, and this is why it's time to say goodbye to this project. That's all basically. The only thing I love the idea what I did here with the carrot and with the little teeth. That just all works pretty fun. And then apparently, obviously, I made sure that there is a bit of a rotational thing going on here. Very pleased with the outcome. It's not like that I'm overly happy with the looks of Olaf itself, but just in case you're worried, but like it just works fine and it looks good, and that's all I wanted to do. Didn't want to go too much Disney in here, even though the idea is that it is Disney. I just wanted to create something nice looking. And oh boy, here's another thing that I do absolutely hate. Like, sometimes I don't get if I'm working on a piece on a platform or not. As you can see, these little branches on top of its head, I didn't put them in the group, and I didn't notice that at first. And it's just like, sometimes I wish the indication that we're working in a group would be even brighter. I mean, they added the the orange frame at some point, which I like. This is a UI change I think no one really talked about, because before it just had like a little bit of an orange button on the top right, but now it is. This is, by the way, the test here with the barriers. I was like, hey, they work in water as well, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, let's move over to the real-time part, because at some point my hard drive was running full and I didn't want to just keep recording in here. So there's a bit of a surprise how the final result looks, and this is where we jump over. Yeah, in the real-time part. This, my friends, is the final version of my Blizzard Beach Sicily edition. You can see a couple of things have changed. The whole entrance area now looks a lot more Alpine. You've seen most of this in the time-lapse, but a couple of other things I've done. I've put a bit of more foliage around here, you know, the main road. Don't mind these kind of pathway thingies down here. This is the whole build, and you can see there is a bit of a lazy river over here. It's nothing crazy, you know, it's just like going around. Unfortunately, people don't really use it that much, so I just kept it over here. And also the game also is a bit buggy, it seems. Like, I put so many jetties in, but you can see the water isn't really flowing. But then on the other side, where there are a lot less of these, oops, don't mind this tree here, this is not meant to be here, there you go. So yeah, it's not really, I don't know, I put a wave pool in here just to see if that works, and apparently it does work. Also, if you hear some crashing coasters eventually, this is my fake chain lift, or chairlift I should say. Yeah, this lazy river, don't mind this lazy river, okay? It's just not, like, whatever. Then this is what I meant over here, our little Olaf turning around, having a bit of a nice time. And he's looking a bit spooky, not gonna lie. He's looking a bit spooky. But as you can tell, because of the barriers, people are not running through. That's pretty cool. And the water effect is just spraying over here, a bit of a snow in the middle. Yeah, so it's not too special at all. But like, I feel like it's a kind of a nice thing. We have a couple of issues here and there. It's just the way it is right now. Also, snow congestion is, as always, in Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, a real problem. I've done my best here to avoid this by putting a lot of things in here. You can see the main plaza looks kind of okay, but then in the back here, there's a huge problem over here because people seem not to go to that side, and then all the way up the hill. This is where everyone is going, because this is where all the fun stuff is happening. So you can see there's a lot of congestion happening here and there. But yeah, so our fake lift in here, unfortunately it doesn't work, so yeah, people have to go here. Still, I'm such a big fan of this thing. Bam, down here, and then they come all the way down here, splashing in this area, and then this is where they end. We also do have our Olympic course over here, which I may have to make a bit more secure at some point. This is really not how it should be. So you can see they're way too fast in certain areas over here. They would technically completely fly out of this thing. So maybe it won't survive the next update anyways. And I will have to fix this. But yeah, for the looks of it, I like it. I'm also not sure if realistically you would get that quick in here. I mean, granted, that turn over here is lethal, but yeah, whatever. And then we also have our bobsled kind of slide over here, which looks a lot better with the fixes they did, but it will apparently look much better once the next update is going to be in here. So where we have like a proper round bottom and proper sliding mechanics and stuff like that, it's going to look so much cooler. So I'm really, really happy that this ends over here. I've got another little house here with the Splash Emporium. I'm not really sure why people don't purchase any of these inflatables. I made the price way lower now, but people seem not to get any of the inflatables. I really don't know why that is. I wish to see them way more often hanging around in these things, but yeah, it just doesn't work. And then over here I changed the color of our slopes, because we do have the actually, you know what, there's a little mistake I made. This is the this is actually the black piece, and I must actually change the color. I forgot that. So there you go. Because I named them all apparently after what they should be in real life, and you know, if you have no idea what that is, but in real life there is a color coding to the slopes, which is green in some areas, blue, red, and black increased difficulty. So black is the hardest, then red, then blue, and green is almost like for beginners, like for very beginners. Blue is also for beginners, but like green is for the very beginners. So that's apparently how it is mostly. Again, our skiing jump over here, and well, that is it, guys. This is it. Also, this thing over here, I wanted this to make functioning, but it isn't. It's also kind of funny, we do have this lift in here as a fake lift, but it doesn't apparently work. I should have made this working, because this would have been a nice touch to get the people up here without them going here. Actually, this roundabout was meant to be the connection. I'm not going to do this anymore. If you want to do this, feel free to do so, but I'm going to call it a day, as I explained. Now, the only thing left to be done is that we got to go here. We're going to save this park one more time. Save park, and then when we load the park over here, we should be able to... how was that again? Wait, where was that? I guess Frontier Workshop, and then... I'm not sure if I can update this over here, because I apparently have uploaded this, which is that one over here. Can I update this? See all the tags, blah, blah, blah. So this is the number, rating, okay, fine, subscriptions too. I wonder if I can just quickly update this. Let's have a look, let's have a look. I guess we're gonna go for the main menu, and just save that again. Go to the main menu, and then we'll have a look if we can fix this from over here, because somehow I forgot how that works. I feel like it was when you're in a park, you manage this and then you can upload this. So manage park and then publish to workshop. That's what it was. And now I can use the Blizzard Beach over here. And can I? Okay, this is now the screenshot. This is fine. This is fine. Let's say update park, update existing creation, so that this is just with the fixes. Great. Okay, so that's it, guys. This is it. We have actually had a good time. And just gonna go, whoops, back into the park. No, not a new park. Just gonna go back in here. Thank you so much for following through this project. I enjoyed it throughout. As I said, it was time now to call it a day. So apparently this is it. This has been a good time. This has been a fun time doing this build. Let me know what you think about this build in particular. Let me know if there's anything you would have done different, if there's anything you were missing from this project, and what we could else do with some of the things. As I said, I've got a bajillion ideas. I've got so many ideas to do in the future, so let's see where this is gonna bring us. And yeah, I mean, this was based off of ideas that Frontier's coming up with a winter update, which they didn't. So maybe we'll see each other in this project next year again, next winter I should say. But until then, have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, little hint for the German people watching. The German channel will be linked in the description as well, so if you want to have a look at my German channel as well, make sure to do so. Just as for explanation, the German channel will be a bit of a recycling from the main channel, so there is no need for other people to worry that this is doing something that this channel doesn't. But I will repackage that in the most positive way for the German folks and give them proper insight to the stuff in my own language. So in case you want to learn German, that may also be a thing. But just as a little info service here. Well, that's that. Have a good time, and thank you so much. Have a wonderful time, and goodbye.